We welcome you to the Wisconsin State Fair Park, site of the historic Milwaukee Mile, and scene of today's second annual running of the Menard Infiniti Pro Series Milwaukee 100. Along with IndyCar expert and analyst and former Milwaukee Mile pole sitter Robbie Buell, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. And Robbie, this track, this tricky oval, long known as a driver's track, what makes it so tough for drivers?
Well, it does. This track has very long corners and it's flat. So mechanically, it is very tough for these drivers to get the balance they want from the race car. That means they're never going to have the perfect car. That's where a driver's ability and willingness comes into play.
This track is flat, fast, and fickle. Last year, it took 3 drivers out in turn 1 on lap 1, so it can bite you in a hurry. With more on today's favorites, let's head down to the grid and Cameron Steele.
One driver trying to avoid the chaos going into turn 1 is your pole setter, Jaime Camara. It's his 3rd pole of the season. The last 2 times, he won the race. Something different for him, though, however, is his teammate Travis Gregg is not starting to the outside for the first time. This time, he has John Herb, the only other winner on a short track so far this season. Also, starting behind him, your points leader, Wade Cunningham, always aggressive and very confident. It should be a shootout. Doc and Robbie, it's going to be a great race.
Should be a good one, Cameron, here at the infamous and historic Milwaukee Mile. As you mentioned, take a look at our starting lineup. Jaime Camara coming off a dominating performance at Nashville, Tennessee, alongside John Herb, best qualifying effort of the year with Herb in the aircon machine. Row 2, a pair of Brian Stewart racing teammates. Points leader Wade Cunningham and Ari Leindyke Jr., who's getting oh so close to that very first win. Row 3, Vision Racing teammates. Nick Bussell, the 2002 World Karting Triple Crown winner, and beside him, 4-time USAC champion Jay Drake. Row 4, Jeff Simmons, making his 25th career start. The former 2-time winner finished 2nd at Nashville, and beside him, rising sophomore at Florida State University, Chris Festa in the Space Pack Care-Centric machine. Row 5, Marty Roth and Scott Mayer. And row 6, after having trouble in practice, Travis Gregg starts shotgun on the field.
And the keys to this race, there are 3 simple keys. And one of them is for these guys to be able to go back to full throttle. When they go through the corner, they come off the gas. The sooner they can get back to full throttle, obviously, the faster they're going to be getting onto that straightaway. The next one is finesse the Firestones. Firestone finesse. What these guys need to do in this long 100-mile race in this heat is really be patient with how they use these tires. And then, my favorites, the guys I've been hearing that really like their cars is Jaime Camara, Wayne Cunningham, and Jeff Simmons. I think those are the guys we've got to keep our eyes on.
All right, thank you very much, Robbie Buell. I mentioned former pole sitter, led a lot of laps at this racetrack over the years in Indy Lights and IndyCar competition.
Green flag.
Couldn't have said it better myself. They come down for the green flag and they are 3 wide in turn 1. Take a look at Wade Cunningham, the points leader, makes a move and takes the lead.
Yeah, and that was a decisive move. That wasn't even close. He just timed that start beautifully, got inside those guys prior to even really getting into turn 1.
Cunningham gets the move inside of both Camara and Herb and takes the lead. And Jaime Camara didn't like that at all. He's going to hustle back up there and try to put some pressure on Wade Cunningham.
It's still early in the race. It was good to see everybody get through turn 1 cleanly and sort themselves out. One guy we're looking at there in 2nd place, John Herb. We said already, he's the one guy that led and won at Phoenix, our other 1-mile track. But every time he's been on the track this weekend, he has gone out and immediately been on the pace and showed the pace. So he's got a lot of confidence in his race car.
There's John Herb. You heard Cameron say he won at the other short oval, won at Phoenix International Raceway, leading 69 of 90 laps. Here's a challenge for a 3rd spot. Simmons on the inside. Very wide racetrack, lots of racing room, and Simmons took advantage of it.
Yeah, and look at Simmons wiggling right there in the red-white car. He made that pass on Jaime, carried some speed down into the middle, and did a good job. That's what we talk about, driver ability and driver willingness. You really got to drive the cars hard here, but you have to be patient as well in terms of managing those tires. Don't use them up early.
John Herb came here and tested. He told me yesterday prior to qualifying, as he takes the lead inside of Cunningham, and woo, let the kid hang on.
That's exactly what Jeff Simmons did that lap prior. What a great job of holding on to the race car.
Well, what a nice job by the former IndyCar ace and now full-time driver here in the Menards Infiniti Pro Series, John Herb. He said he came here and tested and used it, and really got the car dialed in and didn't touch a thing when he came here to practice and qualify. That's how important that test session was.
Yeah, and when you come to a race weekend and you don't make many changes to the race car through practice sessions, that means you got a pretty good race car underneath you, and that's just what he has.
All right, lap 5, and we've already had 2 leaders here as John Herb went by Wade Cunningham for about 100 yards and then slipped, and then Wade went back up front. The top 5 bustle. Oh, we have a yellow on the racetrack and a hard impact over in the corner. That is Scott Mayer, the Franklin, Wisconsin native, who has come into contact with the concrete. The ABC Supply Company sponsored efforts out of the Sam Smith stable.
Yeah, and that's over in turn 2. We haven't seen what's happened on monitors yet, but hopefully we'll get a look at that and we can tell you more what happened.
All right, we'll take a look when we come back. We're in the early laps here under yellow now, doing an incident with Scott Mayer in turn 2. Wade Cunningham is our leader. Getting set for a restart here under yellow for the first time of the afternoon. The Milwaukee 100 here at the Milwaukee Mile. Menard's Infiniti Pro Series action moments ago. Coming off turn 2, this incident brought out the yellow.
Yeah, and that's Scott Mayer that's coming off of turn 2. Obviously, the rear just comes around, he backs in. And we saw earlier where 2 guys struggled with the mid-corner of 1 and 2. And it takes a driver.
Okay, here we go. This is the original start of the race here moments ago. Watch the move by the third-place car in turn 1. Wade Cunningham wasting no time.
Yeah, and he timed that start beautifully. I mean, he was by our pole sitter by the time they got down into turn 1.
He has held on for the first 10 laps, and now we're in the restart here. Lap 11 of 100, and Cunningham says, see ya, I'm pulling away by about 8 car lengths entering 1.
Yeah, and we just talked about how well he timed the start of the race. He timed that restart beautifully.
Cunningham the leader, John Herb, Simmons, Camara, and Bustle the top 5. Lyondike, Festa, Drake, Greg, and Marty Roth. That's the top 10. And here's a move inside by Festa trying to take a spot away.
Yeah, looking down the inside of his teammate, our pole sitter, Jamie Camara, and he's not getting it done as they come off of 4.
Jamie Camara, who won last week and also won in Indianapolis, has a mentor who's standing by with Cameron Steele.
Well, they've been training together, working together, and Tony Kanaan, you've been giving him advice and helping him out. We saw you come running out during the start of the race. Is there anything you can tell us what's happening with Jamie right now? It sounds like he's fighting an understeer.
I think he's fighting a little bit of understeer, and you know, the kid is learning a lot. And I told him just to use his head. He needs the miles, so if he didn't have a car to win, to stay where he is, and I guess it's just experience. He's got to learn how to run in traffic a little bit, and this is the best way to be back there to learn how to run, and he's done a great job. I'm pretty pleased with his performance so far, so he's definitely got a lot to learn, though.
All right, thanks so much, Tony. The ladder series for the Menard's Infiniti Pro Series, and you can see the drivers of the IRL coaching along.
Battle up front waging. Jeff Simmons finally gets by. He's been hounding on the backside of Wade Cunningham. Cunningham's been our leader since lap 1 when he made that daring pass, and now Jeff Simmons takes the lead, and this is the first lap that Jeff Simmons has led all year long. Simmons, a former 2-time winner back in 2003, won in back-to-back weeks at St. Louis and Kentucky, also a pole sitter at Pikes Peak. Finally leads his first laps here in 2005, and he has come so far after having such horrible luck early in the year.
Yeah, horrible luck is probably the understatement, but he had his best finish too, Nashville last race ago, where he finished 2nd. So you got to gain that momentum. Here's the pass.
Marty Roth up high, Cunningham in the middle, and Simmons makes the pass on the inside.
Yeah, and he's alongside of Wade. They're side by side as they go into there. It's his corner. Wade can't do anything. He can't come down when there's a car on the inside of him. It was a good, clean, classic pass.
Jeff Simmons, a 2-time Barber Dodge Pro Series champion, the only driver ever to win it 2 consecutive years in a row. And he says this track reminds him a lot of a road course because it has road course kind of driving ability that it requires. You were awfully good here. Is that accurate?
Absolutely is. You know, drivers love this track. It is a driver's track. You have give and take, and you got to hustle the car. But it's also very important to know what you're inducing in that car as a driver just by what your style is versus what the car's really giving you. To separate those two things, that's what makes a good driver, and it makes you able to tune on the race car to make it better.
Well, we're a third of the way home, and a 28-year-old driver from Hartford, Connecticut, the Boston College graduate, has finally led his first lap. Jeff Simmons, our leader at Milwaukee.